Hey, happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's Postman Live. My name is Kevin, and I'm the technical community manager here at Postman. Today I'm joined by Ruby and Aanchal from the student programs team. How are you both doing?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
Doing good.
I'm doing amazing as well.
Cool. Yeah, so we've got a blindfold challenge planned for today, so I'm not gonna share details on that just yet. Let's jump into what's new in Postman. So in the last week since the last stream, we've had some blog posts come out. You can see this at blog.postman.com. We've had improve and measure development productivity with Postman's API first features, and some exploring the collection format from Dabo from the DevRel team. Also over on our YouTube channel, we've had a couple of YouTube uploads, so you can check these out and then keep an eye out in chat for the links. But yeah, so oops, wrong button. Yeah, you can say hi in chat. We can see you on the sidebar there. Otherwise, let's get started. So do you guys want to do some introductions first?
Yeah, I can start. So my name's Ruby, like Kevin mentioned earlier. I'm a senior developer advocate on our student programs team. I actually work alongside Aanchal. So Aanchal, take it away with your intro.
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Aanchal Mishra, and I'm also working on the student programs team as a developer advocate. And yeah, life is really good.
Cool. So I'm Kevin. I'm a little sick, so I'll be muting here and there to cough. But yeah, so I guess for this challenge, I live in New York City. For those unfamiliar with the area, I don't know, have you guys been to New York before? Ruby and Aanchal?
I have quite a bit. I actually really love New York. And I'll be heading there pretty soon. So yeah, I'm
Oh,
curious to
okay.
know what you're up to here.
So New York, I mean, Ruby knows it. It's very walkable. You don't really want to drive here. For me, when I go out, usually I'll walk or I'll take the subway, the bus, sometimes a bike here and there. But the problem is that you're kind of exposed to the elements. So in the summer, it can be wicked hot, or the winter, like now, well, the fall, it starts to get really cold. Um, that also includes like when it's raining. And for me, oftentimes I forget my umbrella. I'll go out, I'll get maybe downtown somewhere. I'm like an hour from my apartment and it starts raining and then I'm stuck. So at least like in the winter, I'll have this hood and that kind of helps me, but it's not ideal when say like I'm on a date and I don't have my umbrella and I'm just stuck. So it'd be nice if there was a way to be notified, say, hey, it's gonna rain, bring your umbrella. And that's the idea for this challenge. So I've looked around, I found an API that we can use that will text me, say, when we notice that it'll rain in the next 4 hours. And that's the idea. That's what we'll be working on today.
That's
So
super helpful. I take my dog for walks pretty often and multiple times a day. So even if I were thinking of like my city right now or Providence, it'd be great to know if, when it's going to rain so I can put a raincoat on this guy. But yeah,
exactly.
cool
It'd be
challenge.
good, yeah. Because otherwise, it's like I'll take my umbrella with me, and then I feel like a dork that I brought my umbrella all day. I'll look out the window; it doesn't look like it's gonna rain, and then I'll leave it home, and then it rains.
Yep,
It's I mean, the simple solution would be to just look at the weather app before I go out or ask Siri. But we're programmers, we're lazy, so we're gonna get Postman to do that for us.
for sure. Why not? Automate it.
Cool.
Awesome. Sounds like
Okay,
an interesting
so
challenge.
yeah, I hope so. I've worked with a weather API in my blindfold challenge, so hopefully I can give some pointers, but I haven't messed with anything with like
Mm,
messaging. So we're diving in
yeah,
blind here.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
So which of you wants to do the coding part?
I can volunteer to drive the code.
Cool,
I'll
okay.
make
That would be
myself
great.
So
do.
so
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
can
to
help you
nudge.
navigate through it.
There we go. Sounds good. And I'll be coughing in the background. I'm gonna nudge the chat off to the side so we can still see your messages. You just won't be able to see them. And then I will
Okay.
share Ruby's screen. Cool. All right. So, what do you think we should do first in this case? We're going to want to get the weather, and we're going to want to be sending text messages.
Okay, so weather immediately makes me think that we should probably have some kind of weather API available to
Whether
us. Yeah,
yes.
sounds like Anchal agrees. And then
Yeah,
was
and
it?
because we are going to, like work around with sending SMS, so like one API that comes in my mind whenever, I'm thinking about these. Like I think like I have been using it for a long time as well. I think that's around Twilio API. Yeah,
Good
Yeah, for sure.
idea. Good idea.
we can work
Now,
around
Cool.
that.
I know Kevin did mention that there could be something in the public API network that we can use. So I'm sure we can find maybe one or both of those APIs available in Postman. So I'll give that a shot and see what we can find. Let me start with weather. I know in the past I've used OpenWeather. I'm not sure if that one is in our network yet or not, but I'll look around and see what we have. Looks like we have FlexWeather, which is a weather API by FlexWeather.
Okay.
There's
Hmm.
one that I'm more familiar with that I think I might want to lean on for this one. Kevin, did you have one in mind that you were already thinking of for this challenge?
I remember the one I used, and it looks like someone in chat, Rahul, has the same idea. OpenWeatherMap.
Okay, let me.
Oh,
So
yes.
that could be a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
Looks like our API evangelist has a collection here. I don't know if this is one we'll want to fork or if we want to set up our own stuff on OpenWeatherMap on their website.
I think we
So
can go
in
ahead
this
with this
case, I would suggest we would fork that one and
Okay.
use one of those requests to accomplish our
one. Okay.
goal.
So it sounds like we've got a request for calling current weather data for one location. That sounds about right. And the other one's forecasted weather.
So
Just
in this case, we're going to be wanting to get, say, like the next couple hours of weather data. So forecasted would be ideal in this situation. And it looks like
okay.
we'll need an API key. So we'll have to sign up on their website and get an API key.
Sounds good. All right. So I'll start by first forking this into my own workspace. Call this Blindfold. I should have one. Yep, there we go. I created a workspace on my team account for this stream. I don't really need to watch for any changes on this collection, so I'll just fork this. Cool. So I have a fork of this one. And then we were thinking of setting up our own account to get those credentials, right?
Right. We'll need an
Yes.
API key for this.
And that would come from OpenWeatherMap.
Correct.
Mhm.
I have this irrational fear that I'm gonna cough into the mic without muting.
That'll be Kevin's helpful contributions. You should just cough every time we're getting something incorrect.
Yeah, that's my my
Yeah.
signal.
Cool. So I see openweathermap.org here. Let's see. There is the API.
API.
So it is free. I don't know why it's mentioning subscribe, but if you sign up, it should give you an API key.
Yeah, we have to sign
Worst
up first.
case, I can just secretly give you mine.
Well, let's see. I don't know if I remember my. Yeah, if you happen to have a key, I think that might be more helpful, and then we can just stick to
Okay,
the docs here and see what's going on.
sure. Let me find that. I'm glad I have this open in another tab.
And
Okay, I'm gonna send it over our super secret private chat. And for the viewers, don't do this. Don't share your API keys.
Yeah, not a best practice. Cool. So now that I have that key, I wonder if there's any documentation that we already have in this collection regarding how to use it. Well, for our challenge, we have a specific use case, right? We just want weather. Did we think about a time frame that we want our weather for?
I was gonna say something like 4 hours, maybe. Usually, when I'm going somewhere, like I do archery, so I have to go downtown. That takes about an hour, and I'm inside for maybe another hour, and then it's another hour home. So 3 hours. If I'm doing something else, maybe that's longer. So make an even 4.
Nice. Cool. So it doesn't seem like there's mention of credentials needed here, so I'm just going to poke around and see. Looks like they set a variable for the base URL. What does their auth look like? No auth? There might be auth on the requests.
So it showed there under the parameters near the bottom, there was a section app ID that wants an API key.
I see. Cool.
yes.
So that is where I would add that.
But yeah, before that, let's do it in a secure way, right? So that
Yeah.
we are not enabling people to see our API keys.
Yeah.
So for that, what we can do is we can just create a environment, right? And then we can just keep it as secret, and then we can move forward with that.
And real quick, we'll also want to do this under the forecasted weather request instead of this one.
Oh, okay. That's right. I forgot we mentioned that. Let's make it string again.
Looks like we've got a comment. What is today's challenge? So for people that are just joining us, today's challenge is to get some weather data and see if it's going to rain in the next 4 hours. If it will, we're going to want to send a text message to tell me to bring my umbrella so I don't get caught out in the rain. So we'll be using the OpenWeatherMap API and the Twilio API.
Before I keep going with adding this variable for our key, I'm wondering if within Postman it might be more helpful if I organize our challenge into its own collection. So I might move some stuff around, and that's going to affect where my variables are pointing. So let me move stuff first. I'll create a new collection.
So just a tip to avoid making things complicated later. Twilio has a lot of variables in their collection. So we may want to just move our weather request into that one.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to copy.
So
It's
maybe
like
we can,
50 variables.
yeah. So maybe we can move to Twilio SMS documentation, right? API documentation for that.
Okay. So I've just moved the one that I think I'll be needing into this new collection, and I'll just make that my main work collection. But yes, now we're thinking me just make sure that everything's all set here. And we don't need this one. Cool. We're thinking we want to move into the Twilio API now. Aanchal, is that what you were saying?
Yes.
So
Let's go through that. Let's navigate through that.
Yeah, so similar to how we discovered OpenWeatherMap here, I'm sure there's also a Twilio workspace in our public API network.
Yes.
And Kevin, you mentioned that you wanted to get text messages, right? Like a message update?
It'd be
Okay.
great.
So
I'd
we'll be
get
going
a
ahead with the
text
very
message.
first. Yeah, we'll be going ahead with the
Exactly.
very first selection.
Cool. So here's the messaging/SMS collection. This is probably the one that I want from Twilio. Check it
Yes.
out. To interact with a subset of the API. And then here's some extra documentation, but let me just fork this first. And also add this to.
It looks like we've got a comment in chat. Can we use this using Python? Unfortunately, Postman only supports JavaScript, but I'm sure there are other ways to do this with Python.
Yeah, so
we won't be covering that though.
For sure. Just to like add on to that question, if we ever wanted to, like let's say convert something to Python, we can always do that through code generation if we were working on our own project. So you can select from several languages here. Looks like Python's one of them. But that's an aside. Good question. Right, so back to the Twilio messaging API. Just like we took the request that we needed from this collection and dropped that into our Blindfold challenge collection, we should probably do that here for Twilio.
So the thing with Twilio, when I had tested this, Twilio, if you click the collection and go to variables, there's a lot of variables. And not all of them are needed, but I think just for the sake of time, it would be best to delete the other requests from here and just keep like that send SMS one, and then move the weather one here.
Yes.
Make things a little bit easier, in my opinion.
So you're suggesting, just to like reiterate for my own brain, you're suggesting moving what we're working on here in this collection into here because the Twilio messaging collection variables are all stuff we probably need.
Yeah, I mean, I know a handful of them are, not like all 30, I didn't really count, but I think it would save a lot of time if we just move them.
Yeah, actually, I wonder, so I try being very organized within Postman, so I'm going to make my own folder within this collection instead of having a separate collection. I'll call that one the Blindfold Challenge and delete the other collection once I move this one. Cool. So now I have my own folder that I'm working on within this Twilio collection, and it should be inheriting everything from that parent Twilio collection. Cool. And then all I have right now is that forecasted weather request that came from OpenWeatherMap. And what did we say? We're not buying a phone number because that's not part of our use case.
Yeah, so let's delete.
So if you create an account with Twilio, they'll give you a certain amount of free credits to get started, and that includes also getting a free phone number.
Okay, so I won't need to buy a phone number.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume I need this one because I'll be sending an SMS. I think I might have actually a Twilio account already, where I'll get my SID, and I think there's another variable somewhere. Probably my phone number goes somewhere. But I have an older Twilio account because I was previously messing with it for a different thing that I was working on, so I might have that around. Hopefully I'm already still signed into Twilio. Let me see. Twilio developer. Here, Twilio docs. I'm guessing.
So we need to work around with the SMS one.
Yeah. I do want to sign in though. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
through
you
here.
will have to.
Okay, cool. I'm already signed in.
You are in.
Woohoo! I was sweating. Yeah, so from here, I should have a phone number already. Let's see. Active numbers? Cool. So I have a Twilio phone number. And I don't need to buy one. So this is probably something I'll use. And then I have an SID I'll probably need to use as well. I'm sure I have that saved somewhere.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so back to my Blindfold Challenge folder here. Our task is to get the weather for a 4-hour window and send ourselves a text message telling us what that weather is. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. Looking at this forecasted weather, we have a base URL. That's probably the OpenWeatherMap URL we're going to need. Let me see what that is in their docs. I'm guessing it's this. Do I need this one call? Path extension? I skim very quickly, but yeah. I'm guessing that's the base URL we'll need. We'll try it out and we'll see.
Yeah, let's go ahead with this. Let's try this one.
So this is set at the collection level, not my folder. Oh, that would have been at this collection. I'll just add it to, you don't get folder level variables. I'll add it here to Twilio. And this is all cool and dandy because this is just a fork. It's not the actual collection. And what was it called? Just base URL? I just want to make sure I get the case right.
I believe it was capital U.
Okay. And that was, nope, that's a description. Cool. Let me save this and just get this out of the way. Just double checking. It is spelled the same and now it's there. Cool. So looking at this, I wonder if there's any extra documentation on how to use it. Looks like we need our API key.
Yes.
And that is, where is that? It's within the request, it looks like. Cool. So, Kevin, you had shared your API key with me. Are you okay with me just like putting it in on the screen now, or would you prefer that I stop screen sharing for a moment while I add that?
Oh, you can put it in. I would save it as a variable, but yeah.
Oh, yes, that's correct. It's called app ID. And we'll just add it to Twilio as well. Set that variable. Cool. So now we have an app ID and a base URL, and we should be able to send this. Doesn't look like we need any more authentication stuff.
Seems all good for now.
Now, Kevin said New York, so let me just add.
Oh yeah, we need to add.
And there's some examples in here. I just want to check to see if like having a space is fine.
I think it might be easier to say just Manhattan, just in case.
Yeah.
Cool. And it doesn't look like we need these. These might not be required.
Yeah, but we also want to see that, yeah, but Kevin also mentioned that, we want to see if we will have rain in the next 4 hours. So do we also want to, like work around that with the time?
Is there a time parameter here?
There
Maybe
should
not.
be.
Well, let's send and see what we get first, and then we can try to
Okay.
figure that out.
Invalid URI. So it's possible that base URL wasn't correct.
Okay.
Oh, there goes my majigger there. Let's see. So I want to edit that collection level.
It may
base.
be because it's set to initial and not current, so current is blank at the moment.
Yeah, so we should be, yeah, so I thought we set it actually as an initial one, but yeah, we have set the variables as the initial. So yeah, we might want to change it to the current value. And yeah, just a heads up for everyone who is watching as well that whenever you're walking around, you should be using the current value and not the initial value because yeah, that's how we should be going around with that.
Method not
Not
supported.
supported.
Okay.
So I can give you the URL that I used. Because I noticed the version, this one's using 3.0. I use 2.5. My URL might work better. I'm not sure.
Looks like
Okay.
it, yeah. Is 2.5 the only difference there?
I think so, yeah.
All right, let's see. Let me just change it in initial as well, just in case. Cool beans. So our base URL has been updated to 2.5. We'll try it again. Nice.
Cool.
Okay.
Glad that was as easy as that was.
Okay, so here's our object. It looks like for a given city called Manhattan. We have the weather here, which is an array with an object. Right now it's clear with the clear sky. Yeah. Nice. So we probably want to tap into this weather object here, I guess. Yeah. An object with an array of another object. So there's a list array. Within that list, there is weather. And that weather is also an array with an object.
Yeah, so as a forecast, it should be giving us a whole list of weather objects. And I can see there should be something that maybe signifies time. And that's what we would probably want to work from. So we can see DT text. That looks like a time variable. And there's also DT there. It looks like that's either seconds or milliseconds.
Sounds like milliseconds.
Cool. Okay, so we want to look at DT text maybe for a 4-hour window. This is going to be tricky. So I wonder if we can add a test script that would kind of dip into this object, give us the weather, but only for a 4-hour window. Do we want a specific 4-hour window?
So my thinking is that we would use a Postman monitor to run, say, like every hour.
Okay.
And that'll be 4 hours from when that monitor runs. So I would do something like the current date get time.
Okay. All right, let me use our snippets here to see where we can get started. We have a couple of test snippets. You can get a couple of variables, set some variables, but I want something that has to do with reading our response body. What do you think, Aanchal?
Let's go ahead with, no, not that one. So, JSON value check?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. And then we can test something and throw in a function. Looks like JSON data is being assigned.
Yeah, so we can maybe add it as like, const 4 hours from now in seconds, and then use the new date function, get time, and then add it here.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll need this part.
Yeah, we can remove that.
But we do want to set the JSON data variable here to pm.response.json just so we're not continuously repeating this. Might be easier.
Yes.
I just want to see what that looks like really quickly.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
I like that we're already using console log to debug. I'm just like that. When in doubt, console log.
I console log everything. It's super helpful because we have this console here, which I'll clear because I haven't sent anything just yet. Yeah, so I'll send this, and this is what our response object looks like, which we kind of already saw earlier, but I always like seeing it in the console. So we have list that we can get into. So I wonder what JSON data.list looks like.
Okay.
Looks like there's a list of 40 things with a bunch of objects. Okay, I'm looking into list because I want to get to weather, because I think weather was within list. Let me take a look again at what I got back. Yeah, weather was within list.
Yes,
So
it was.
I got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me just get this out of the way for a second. Wonder what it looks like when we check out list and then weather. Oh, that's undefined.
Weather data, we may want to add a filter for that.
Yeah, that's just because list is of an array. So
Okay.
Yes.
you could do like bracket 0 just to inspect that first one.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so it is possible to dive into an object here. So where do I go from here? I have to constantly remind myself what I'm trying to test or do.
So we're going to want
Maybe
to
we
get.
can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so maybe we can actually add a date, right? First of all, and adding it as a constant. Like we can add a constant here first of all, and then we can go about, adding the new date function, get time, and then, like because we are going, we are taking like we will be dealing ahead with, like 4 hours, so we can maybe set the time accordingly. If
Yeah.
going about constant, maybe we could write it as 4 hours from now, and because like we'll be working in seconds, right, or milliseconds.
I think I'm not
4 hours
sure. We
from
may want to
now.
look at the API documentation, but it might be in seconds from what I remember.
Yeah, so we can keep it as, let's say, like to be as easy it sounds, like we can just keep it as 4 hours from now in seconds. Let's keep the constant name as that, and then use the new date function to get time. Yeah, I think we can go about it like this.
Cool. I'm glad, Aanchal, you know the steps ahead, but I do want to make sure that it is in seconds and not milliseconds, because I feel like we'll run into some issues if we're not certain. So I'm just checking the OpenWeather documentation here to see if there's any mention of what the time looks like.
Let me also check that.
Hourly.weather, daily.dt. Kevin, when you were checking out their documentation, was there a spot that
I think it's in seconds. I think it's in seconds.
okay.
I have the answer, but I don't remember how I found it because I had this problem too where I wasn't sure if it was seconds, if it was milliseconds. But it is in seconds.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll just assume it's in seconds, I guess. 4
Yeah,
hours from
let's keep it
now.
as in
I think
seconds.
I just found by trial and error after a while. Ian and I were trying to figure it out.
Nice.
Okay.
So
Now new date function.
So what we're trying to do with this line is figure out what 4 hours from now would be. Does that sound right?
Yes, yes. Then new dot functions get time.
Is that a method
Yeah, dot.
for this library?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I see.
I
Get
think
time.
I think so. Dot get time.
Is that also another? Yeah, looks like it's another function.
So that one is giving us milliseconds. We'll want to convert that to
Convert it.
seconds.
Yes. Yeah. So it can be 1,000 plus 1,000 divided by 4 into 60 into 60, right? I think so. 1,000. Yeah. Let me check. I think it should be 1,000 divided by 4
So
into 60 into 60. Yeah.
it's by default in milliseconds. Is that what you were saying, Kevin? And then
Right.
Aanchal,
So hovering
yeah.
over that, the
Yes.
inspector shows that it's in milliseconds.
Oh.
But because the API is working in seconds, we'll want to divide that by 1,000,
Yeah.
which will convert it. And then we'll want
Correct.
to add or whatever 4 hours in seconds is.
Yes.
Okay. So oops. We also want to figure out 4 hours in seconds and add 1,000 to that. Okay. Sorry, just repeating yourself, so it's stuck in my brain.
That's totally okay.
So 4, and we're gonna multiply that by 60 minutes, right?
Yes.
Right.
And then 60 seconds. Yeah.
So we've got 4 hours from now, new date, .get time, which is in milliseconds, and we converted that to seconds by dividing by 1,000, and we wanted 4 hours. So divided by 60 minutes, or sorry, multiplied by 60 minutes times 60. I just want to console log that too, just to double check.
Okay.
Hopefully it's a very long looking number.
4 hours from now in seconds. That's also a really long variable name.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but it's
Yeah,
descriptive.
it is. So I'm just going to clear this so I don't get confused. Now I'm console logging just this. I've already commented that out. So this is going to help me inspect just what I want to console log. If I send this now. All right. I just want to quadruple check in Google that this is 4 hours from now. And this is in what, UTC, right?
Should be.
Yeah, I think it should be in UTC.
Okay.
I didn't check though. Let me check.
Is it telling me anywhere? Did I search that right? Well, I'm on Eastern time. So is this 4 hours from now? It's like, yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never thought to try that when I was struggling with this.
This is actually like a knee-jerk thing that I do now because I was in support in the past, and folks would always be giving us different times that stuff was going on in their app, and I always had to double check through our handy friend Google. Cool, so we know for certain that this is 4 hours from now. Great, that works. But what were we doing with that? So we've got
okay, so now maybe
you can go.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Kevin.
So we have 4 hours from now in seconds defined. We're gonna want to compare that to the list of forecasts we've gotten and see which ones are within the next 4 hours, because that returns something like 40 results, and we don't want like tonight or something like that, just within that window.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe we want to create another constant for that? Or...
yeah, well, we want our, do we want to make it a const? Is it ever going to change?
Okay, so yeah, so we can just directly use a filter, and then, let's say let forecast is equal to, maybe I just thought that, we can actually create a constant like beforehand, and then keep it as, like keep that list in, like, prior before, creating another, like adding forecast to it. I just thought that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So like throwing this into another const, what we had
Yeah,
here.
so we can, yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
And what did we want to call that one?
Let's say weather data.
I like that one. A lot shorter.
Yeah.
And we
And
just want
let's
to
call
make
it
it
as
our
equal to, yeah, just a list. So pm.response.json and then this.
yeah, so it would be the same as JSON data, right? Because we already have that as pm.response.json.
Okay, we already have it. Yes, we already have it.
Okay.
I missed
Cool.
that. Okay, so now what we can do is,
so you had
now
mentioned
we
something
can
about filter,
JSON.
Aanchal. Was there a specific
Yeah,
way you were thinking of using it?
yeah, so I was thinking that now we can, add in JSON data and add a filter on that, okay? Like JSON data dot filter, and then maybe we can like create the filter using the as an object that is weather object, right? And yeah, then we can add it as 4 hours, like 4 hours from now in seconds. So we can maybe add a filter as weather object, and then we can like weather object dot dt that we just saw in the list, and then we can move forward with that.
Okay, so you want to filter on this, right? The constant we just made, weather data?
Yeah, weather data.
And do we
Not
support
filter.
filter?
Yeah, filter should work on the I think because it's considered an array. So filter would work, and then we would want to iterate through weather data, that array. And we could use like an arrow function or something like that. For me,
Yes,
I
we can
usually
use an
use
arrow
arrow
function.
functions.
Yeah.
Me too.
Arrow functions are definitely a lot neater.
Yeah, I like the cleanness of it.
For sure. So we're looking at the weather object when we're doing this, right?
Right, so
Yes.
that's just our iterator. We can name it anything we want, but that's gonna equate to a single element within our weather data array.
Okay. And why are we iterating on it again? What are we trying to accomplish?
So in this
Uh,
case, we have this
the
whole
time.
array of weather data. We want to find
Yes.
just the ones where the DT is, I believe,
Just
greater
four
than or
hours from
equal
now. So
to, yeah.
greater than or equal to 4.
So I just want to, this is going to be my MO today. I just want to see
Console log it.
what weather object would look like. I don't think that'll give us anything because I haven't, well, maybe it will. Who knows? Let's see. If I send this, what do I get here? Okay. I get a lot. And it's got that DT information. Nice.
So that's what we want to filter out, right?
Yeah. So we
So
are
let's keep
looking
it
at
as weather. Yeah, because we have already named it as weather object, right? So let's keep it as weather object dot dt, and then put an arrow again, and then keep it as 4 hours from now. I think that's how the filter will work, right?
and we want to make sure that it is 4 hours from now, right? So we're
Yeah,
using,
so we will use that. We have already created the constant for that, right? That is 4 hours from now. So we can just add it there.
do we want to make sure it's always 4 hours from now, or I need to, like,
As of now, let's just check that first.
okay. And
We would want to probably have like as an inequality. I'm not sure if that's greater than or less than, but
Oh,
I think I had used
it
greater
should
than or
be,
equal to.
yeah, it should
Because
be
if we do
greater than
equal
and equal
to,
to.
that would only be weather data objects where the DT is
Correct.
exactly equal to 4 hours from now. And we're just not going to get that lucky.
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
so
This looks good.
let me just double check that again.
Okay.
I console log everything as I'm going through it.
I'm telling you, if I don't, this is like my constant sanity check.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Especially because the schema is kind of like an array with an object. or a whole bunch of objects within that array that have more arrays of objects in it. So seeing
Yeah.
exactly what you're working with is helpful.
Okay, cool. So this is what forecast looks like right now after we've filtered on our weather data. And looking for 4 hours from now in seconds. And we've got a couple of things back, actually. More than a couple. 38 things.
It looks like almost all 40 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting, yeah. I don't know why that's, maybe it's less than or equal to then.
Whoops.
It should be greater than and equal to according to what algorithm we have, like, applied. But let's see. Let's just send it again and see.
We just got one.
That's just giving us one now.
Okay.
Let's work with more data then. This we're kind of low on time, so we may not be the most accurate, but at least if it's gonna rain sometime the next day, I'll have an umbrella.
Cool. So we don't need this anymore. And so we want to know. Kevin just said that he really needs to know if it's gonna rain.
Yes. So we can, so what we can do is maybe we can run, will it rain? Let's create it. And then let's say if it is false, then what will happen? And then if it is true, then what will happen? So we can just add it here, right? So we can go about, let's say, if it will rain, then let's see if the parameter is true, then, we can just add a message like, hey, console.log, like notifying of rain.
Yeah.
And then of course, because we also want to work around with Twilio for that, and we want the message to be sent, so we'll have to work around and see that it should be sending an SMS, right, on the phone number that we are.
So
Okay.
will it rain is the trigger, right? If it's true, then something. If
Yes.
it's false, then something else.
Then
So
something else.
if it's a Boolean, then we probably want to start with something.
Right.
Okay.
And have that change depending on some conditional.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we'll probably be working with a monitor in this case that'll run every hour. And to chain this into the next request, we'll use postman.setNextRequest, but we only want to do that if it's going to rain. Otherwise, I'm just going to get texted every hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we'll want to see what the actual weather is in that weather object. If there's maybe like a percent chance of precipitation, or if it just says like, hey, it's going to rain, we can filter on that word rain.
Okay. So we probably want to do a loop of some kind.
Yes, we will have to.
So we have forecasts that we made.
Forecast.
I'm not super strong with loops, so I'm gonna lean on you all to help me with this.
I would say a for each. Since
Cool.
we've already filtered down the weather data into anything that's happening in the next 4 hours, we can do a for each on each of those.
For each.
And it works just like a filter, but the outcome is different. And yeah, it uses another iterator. So like if it's forecasts, we'll have a forecast.
Forecast top. Yes.
And is this another arrow function that we want to? Well,
yeah, we could use an arrow function. I think they just look cleaner usually, but that only really works if you have like one thing.
Yeah, and this time we're giving it some kind of other job.
So we'll start with an if loop, right? If and else loop.
We'll want to see what that weather object looks like. What data can we go off of within that weather object that'll show that it's raining?
It was within DT, wasn't it? We were looking at it before.
DT will be the time.
Oh, that's the time.
But there's that object weather.
The weather.
So
yeah, so we might want to work around with forecast object dot weather.
Yeah, so there's that main description clear and description, or sorry, main, which is clear, and then description, which is like describing what the weather is. But is there anything maybe, I saw temperatures, was there like precipitation chance?
There's pressure, humidity. Do you want a text message if the sea level is rising?
Yeah, if we're gonna get like a tsunami or something, I guess we could just go off of weather then. Probably the main
Yeah,
property.
weather.main.
With the dot main.
And the
Cool.
other thing is that that weather object is actually, or that weather property is actually an array of properties.
So just checking on that again.
So
You said that weather object
forecast.
is an array of properties. Okay.
Or
Or
array of
array of objects.
objects. Yeah, I can't English today. But it only seems to have one object in it, so we could just do bracket 0 and get that first element.
So forecast dot, or no, it was our forecast object because that's our iterator.
Forecast dot object and then square bracket 0.
But we're looking at the weather in there.
Yeah, so
right?
dot weather. Yeah, dot main or dot weather. Dot weather.
So is it dot weather the first that's an O,
You want
not a
the
0.
yeah. Close. Yeah, that first element.
Mm-hmm. It was weather.main, right? Just double checking.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
weather dot main.
And we want it to say, so will it rain? We're looking for rain. So weather.main, if that is
It includes cloud, right? That's what we received in the response.
So we might get something like, because that one was showing clear, we might get light rain or heavy rain or chance of rain, or I'm not sure what they would look like, but I imagine it would have that keyword rain in it.
Yeah.
So we would want to do something like a string includes on that keyword, but because there's different variations, I would do like to lowercase or something like that.
Okay.
This way we're not missing like capital R in rain or something like that.
Yeah.
It's true. So two lowercase is another function there.
And we'll see.
After that, we want to include cloud, right? So we can add dot include cloud.
So
and then
are we looking for cloudy or are we
will it
looking
rain?
for
we could do rain. Cloud could mean rain, but
I saw
for
rain.
now, I mean,
saw rain in the
I
response.
managed to pick the one day that it's not raining in the last 2 weeks, so we may have to go based off of cloud, but it's looking pretty clear today. So we'll have to see. For now, it's okay if we get a false response.
Okay.
That'll be good to test to see that I'm not getting texted. But we might have to force true at some point just to make sure that text is going through.
Okay. So
now we
if
want
that
to go ahead
includes
with will it rain?
then yeah, will it rain?
Will it should be equal to true.
And then do we want to
And
do
then
anything
else.
outside of this? Oh yes, the conditional if.
Not else, yeah, just another if loop.
If will it rain has changed to true. And this is like where we do that set next request, right? Kevin, you were saying, but we haven't
Yes.
set up that messaging service yet.
So yeah, to round up where we've gotten to at this point, this request will run and get a bunch of weather data for Manhattan in New York. We want to get the weather data for the next 4 hours, and because this weather API is working with seconds in UTC, we're converting the current time in UTC, in seconds. We're getting 4 hours from now, and then comparing that against the weather data that we get from the API. So we're using a filter to filter that down to only the forecasts that will be in the next 4 hours. I think it's the next 4 hours. I feel like we're just getting all of it, but that's okay. And then we want to iterate on all of those forecasts that supposedly take place in the next 4 hours and find just ones where well, we're not filtering it. We're just wanting to see within that weather data, will it rain at any point? And if it does, which is what that includes does, it's going to set will it rain to true, because it doesn't matter if it's raining at the end or the beginning. We just want to see if it rains at any point during the next 4 hours. And if it is, which is what this conditional is, we're going to want to send a text message. So that's like the next step here.
Yeah. So Aanchal had mentioned we can try console logging before we try messaging to see if anything happens when it's true. So it's gonna rain. Let's see if it works. Aanchal, does this look good to you? Because I know you were thinking of setting this console log. It's awfully silent all of a sudden.
I think they may have disconnected. Might be their internet. Yeah, there they go. They'll be back. Let's just run it and see what we get.
Okay, cool. So, and I do want to save this. I realized I hadn't
Yeah.
saved all this time. This
I was
is my
surprised it was running, to be honest.
Oh goodness.
There we
All
go.
right,
Welcome back.
let's send this and see if
Hey.
anything got console logged.
Okay, so
This is just the GET request. So we didn't get any.
We got a test result though. That failed. Forecasts object is not defined.
Did I not?
Forecast.
Oh, is it with another S?
Yeah. That was
Oh,
probably
yes.
why.
Darn. All right. Okay, it's going to rain.
Oh.
Heads up,
I'd
Kevin.
be surprised if it does, but I'll trust us here.
Just sad.
There's not a cloud in the sky for once.
Did we already set up the monitor as long, like till the time I was lost?
No.
Right now we're just checking to see if it's going to rain.
Cool.
Okay.
So now that we
I
know
guess
this
it'll turn
works,
cloudy eventually.
yeah. So now that we know that this works, we can try the set next request, but like obviously assuming that we are setting up that next request pretty soon.
Yes.
Yeah, so now we'll want to dive into the Twilio API and explore that other request that we had forked and see how we can do that. Thankfully, I think this piece will be a lot easier than figuring out all this weather data.
Yeah. So we want to be able to send a message, but to do that, we need an account SID, which I think I have hanging out somewhere. And we might need a password.
So just for the sake of time, because I've done a lot of preparation for this beforehand, the password will be our Twilio token.
Cool.
If you click show password, I think it'll just have a variable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so you can create those as, say, like collection level variables and fill that information out.
Yes.
And then you'll just need to get your Twilio phone number from Twilio. If we look under, go ahead, you can.
Yeah, I have some of that already on the side because I had used this API a while ago, so I should have something we can use here. And then I'll just add that here. And then for this token, let's see. But that phone number, I think I might also have that phone number. We'll see.
Maybe sure.
Yeah, so if we inspect the body, that's where we will be able to define our phone number, the destination phone number, and the body, which is what that text message will say.
Okay.
And that's all we should need in this case.
We could also probably make this dynamic and have this say whatever we want based on what we have here, but whatever, that's a stretch goal. Let's get our phone numbers in here. So I'll add my Twilio phone number here. I don't want to use my personal number.
So this will be the one that's generated by Twilio when we created the account.
Yeah. So this is the Twilio one, that's right. But for the other one, my phone number, do we have, Kevin, do you have burner phones?
I have a Google Voice number I could share with you.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Okay, let me share that in our secret chat. Should be it. I'm
Awesome.
hoping.
We have it.
Cool. And put that on the collection as well. Nice. So I think that's all the variables we need, right, to send a message. We've got authorization set up, body.
You can just hit send, see if I
Yeah,
get a text
let's
message
hit
now.
send it.
All right, Kevin should be getting a hello world message.
Okay.
201 created.
It looks like I got it. How am I gonna share this now without giving you guys my mom's phone number?
Oh no.
Let's see. I have a really good idea. I'm gonna share my screen. Window. I took a screenshot.
Okay.
There we go.
Nice.
That just came now, so you can tell I didn't fake it. Cool. So now we have to figure out how to connect the pieces here.
Yeah. So just saying.
Arlemy will share his phone number as well. So we're doxing everybody today.
Oh goodness.
So now we can go back to our test script.
Yeah. So I'm just setting the body to it's going to rain because I know when we get there, I want you to know that it's raining. So I've just put that in place for now. But we don't have, like, if I were to run this collection, there's no way of connecting this or chaining it to the previous one that we set up. So I want to make sure we do that.
Yes.
And I know we have set next request as an option here. Set next request. Right, send an SMS.
Name is, send an SMS. Okay.
Okay, so if I were to send this now, then the next request would be this one, where the body says it's going to rain. Let's see if Kevin gets that message.
Yes.
So I don't think it would work. And I don't see a text. I don't think it would work with this. We would have to use either the collection runner or a monitor to actually get the next request to actually run.
Oh, okay. So will we want to create this monitor separately, or is there a way that we could on the collection maybe?
I think we'll have to create a monitor for our alert service, so it will be a separate one, right? Yes.
Yeah, this one would work. Monitor collection.
That's the collection we want. The tag is fine. I don't have an environment set up because I set everything up in the collection. We don't have any data file. And Kevin, you wanted this every hour, right?
Yeah, I'd say every hour is a safe bet.
Okay. I don't necessarily want run failure notifications. And I think the defaults here are fine otherwise. Okay, so we create this monitor. And what this will do is run the collection every hour.
Every hour.
So it's saying unhealthy, but that may be because we have a whole bunch of requests in there that it's trying to run already.
Yeah.
And those just don't have the details. So we may want to just move those out or delete them.
Yeah, so we won't need any of these. Just double checking before I delete it. Yep, put separate folder. Okay, so now we just have my folder in here. And I'll probably need to recreate this or maybe edit it.
I think you could run it again and it might work.
Okay, well, let's see. Let's run this. Nope.
Okay, so let's see. I got the text message. I don't know what the error is. So let's scroll down. Our test name. Let me change our view because I can't see either. Our test name. Because we didn't define a name. Can we see in the console? Console log?
Yeah,
or sorry, not that one. It's under the monitors. That one, yeah. So it should be postman.setNextRequest.
Oh, it's postman.set.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
All right, so this was in our weather.
Hopefully I get another text now.
Okay.
Woohoo! I love green.
Oh,
I just got another text
finally.
message. Um,
Pixar
see
didn't
else.
happen.
Is that it? Okay.
Awesome.
Is this it? This is it. It
Something about your
worked.
raincoat?
Yeah.
Nice.
Going to rain.
Um,
Awesome.
Cool. So I think we're about out of time as well. But we managed to pull it off. We get weather data for the next 4 hours in a given location. At the moment, it's just Manhattan, but that could easily be changed with like a variable or something like that. And then from there, we pipe it into Twilio and it just sends me a text message.
Yeah, so this was our send an SMS request, which all of this was copied over from their public collection, right? So all this is available on our public API network. Cool beans. This was fun.
We can change that to dynamically generate ads and then spam me every minute. You probably could, but I will delete this phone number after this stream. That's the beauty of Google Voice. But we're willing to test with your phone number too if you'd like.
Yeah, definitely volunteer your number.
yeah, he was all good. He actually told that we can use his number.
Yeah, you could sign up for all sorts of accounts and stuff now. It's the Postman phone number. Um, but cool. Okay, I guess we can start doing our closing remarks or whatever we want to call it. Um, yeah, thanks for coming and helping out with the stream. You guys did really great. Do you have any community shoutouts you want to share?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Kevin, and of course, the DevRel team for having student folks on your stream today. I know I have a couple shout outs actually for our community. So within our Discord community, we have a channel called Share Your Work, and we regularly see a bunch of folks just trying out new technologies and showing off their projects basically in the name of other people's learning. And that's something we just love checking out and seeing. Thanks, Kevin, for flashing that across the screen. But we do have a Discord community for folks to join if they're interested in our student program. And then I have an extra shout out for the folks in our audience today. It sounds like we had a couple of really funny remarks, and lots of folks were letting us know where they were joining from. So that's always cool to see.
Do you have any shoutouts, Aanchal?
Yeah, yeah, all good for now. But yeah, you can definitely, in case you're someone or in case you know someone, someone like any undergraduate who actually, is someone who may be, a good source of, or who could be an advocate of API literacy inside their campus or in their local community, you can just navigate them through the Postman student program. Maybe you can actually add that link up there, Kevin. And yeah, we are definitely happy to always have, amazing student leaders, within our team. And yeah, help
Yeah,
them and provide them support as we can.
I wanted to add, Anchal, so Anchal's being coy, but she actually set up a really cool challenge recently. It's like a bingo challenge. We've seen a bunch of folks on Twitter partaking in that recently. So if you want to check that out, it's hashtag Postman Student.
I think I saw that. It's a bunch of like a checklist of things that you've done, right? It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Yes, yes.
it's
Yeah,
impressive. Folks have done a
it's
lot.
really going good. Yeah.
Cool. And it looks like Arlemy has a question about a quick recap. So, really quick, if we could just step through that again. I'll share your screen. And this is so crowded. Hold on. Okay, so the idea is I live in Manhattan and I have to walk everywhere, or I'll take a bus or a subway. You don't want to drive in the city. And a lot of times I find that I go out, I look out the window, it looks clear right now, but I'm going to Comic Con later. Might rain. I don't know. I don't check the weather app. It'd be nice if there's a way to notify me, say by text message, hey, it's going to rain. So that's the idea of this blindfold challenge, that we use the Twilio API and the OpenWeatherMap API to get the weather for the next, say, 4 hours and let us know, or let me know rather, over text if it's going to rain. Um, I don't know if we'll have this public because there's like a bunch of API keys in it, but if you watch the video back, you can kind of follow along. We did it in an hour, but there were three of us, so I think maybe you could do it in 3 hours or something. um, And you could probably do it better, to be honest. I'm not even sure if that's really the next 4 hours, but yeah, that's about the summary at least. Cool. Okay. I guess it's my turn, so I need to undo what I just did and share my screen. Yeah, so shout outs, I guess. Upcoming events. If you go to the Postman Learning Center, you could see upcoming Postman events. We have a ton of stuff going on. We're at Test Bash. We're doing a stream with Cisco. And this is always updated. So if you're ever wondering like what's going on in Postman, this is probably the best place to be. There's also, I'm the community manager, so this is my community, the Postman Supernovas. If you like doing content like this, if you like making videos, doing live streams, or even just talking about Postman, apply to the Postman Supernova program. We have people all over the world. And then I think, so we also have the upcoming Space Camp. It's not called Space Camp anymore. It's called Postman Intergalactic. So you can sign up for this webinar here. Now that Postman V10 has come out, we're doing a kind of like a refresher on the past webinars that we've done. So this is a really great one if you're new to testing, new to Postman in general. It's just an introduction to testing. But that's about it for what I have to share. Yeah, I mean that's I guess it for today. I'll bring chat back up. I forgot to do that. It doesn't look like there's any other comments. So if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to us on the forums or on Twitter, and we'll get back to you. But thanks for watching.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thanks all.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.